Hi, my name is Greg Olson and I'm the Director of the New York State Office for Aging. Many older New Yorkers are eligible for a variety of federal, state, and local benefits that can put cash in their pockets, help pay for prescriptions, food, and heat, have their taxes reduced, or help pay for care in the community. These are benefits that you have worked for and your tax dollars have supported until a time that you may need them. Unfortunately for many, they are either unaware of these benefits or might be reluctant to apply. Some of the applications for the benefits can be filled out and you can just simply submit them. Others need to be filled out and approved by a local official. Either way, we wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to apply for these benefits by showing you how to fill out certain applications so that you can get them approved easily. So instead of you having to go to somebody to fill them out, we're bringing the experts to you. I would like to thank all of our state partners and local experts for helping us help you understand these applications that sometimes can be difficult to understand or may be complex. Understand how to fill them out and any backup documentation you may need so that you can access these important benefits. Thank you.
Welcome to the New York City Department of Finance video tutorial on how to apply for the Senior Citizen Homeowners Exemption and the Disabled Homeowners Exemption. The New York City Department of Finance administers the tax and revenue laws for the 5 boroughs, including property taxes. The Senior and Disabled Homeowners programs are property tax reductions or benefits that can save homeowners thousands of dollars a year. Everything we need to know about the property tax benefits can be found on the Department of Finance website, which is easily located by searching NYC DOF. Using the website as our resource, this video will cover the following topics: the eligibility guidelines, how to apply online or by mail, what documents to submit, what happens after submission, and tips and suggestions for easy approval. Now let's take a look at the homepage. Notice on the top there are multiple tabs for services, including NYC taxes and ways to save. Before we move on to that, let me show you some other great tools on this page. On the top right-hand corner, you can select a language to read the website in by clicking on Translation, and you can increase the text size. Below that, we have a search box where you can type in a question or a keyword, and it will take you right to that topic. Towards the middle, you'll see the Contact Us option, which you should use to contact the Department of Finance if you have any questions or need assistance. Before we review the senior and disabled exemptions, we may need to know what exemptions a property owner already has. That information is located on their property tax bill. All property tax accounts are public record and can be found by clicking on NYC Taxes. This brings you to the Property Tax Public Access portal, where you can begin by searching according to someone's address or borough block lot. You'll need the borough block lot or the BBL for the application, so you can find it here if you don't already have that. Here's an example of a homeowner's tax bill that reflects multiple exemptions. They have the Veterans Exemption, the Senior Citizen Homeowner Exemption, and Enhanced STAR. Originally, this bill was nearly $7,000 a year. But with the exemptions, it's been reduced to $2,300. That's a savings of over $4,500. What a great savings. If the owner lives in a co-op, the public record does not reflect their unit information, so they should check with their managing agent or contact the Department of Finance for that information. Now let's find out more about who is eligible for these savings. This information is located on our Ways to Save page. Ways to Save lists a number of programs for the city, but we want to look at property-related benefits for property owners, also referred to as homeowners tax benefits. This chart lists all of the personal property tax exemptions New York City residents can qualify for. They are all available for an owner's primary residence except the clergy exemption. STAR and Enhanced STAR cannot be combined, nor can the senior and disabled exemptions. But remember, our example before had 3 exemptions: Enhanced STAR, the senior exemption, and the veterans exemption. Because you can combine STAR with disabled homeowner in the final 3, just like you can combine Enhanced STAR with the senior exemption and the final 3. The chart lists the basic eligibility, benefit amount, application location, and the deadlines. The deadline is March 15th annually for the application to be submitted. Scroll down the page for a menu of the savings programs. Click on the Senior Citizen Homeowner Exemption, also known as SCHE. In this section, we will review the eligibility and program details. There's also a nice brochure that shows you how to apply for the benefit. And a reminder, if you need help, to contact 311 or email us at the Department of Finance. If due to a disability or a health condition, you need an accommodation in order to apply for and receive a service, please contact Department of Finance to be connected to the Disability Services Facilitator. Let's review each of these sections in depth by clicking on the menu option. Eligibility requirements. There are 4 primary points for eligibility. The first is age criteria. All owners of the property must be 65 or older, unless the owners are spouses or siblings. If that's the case, only one of the owners must meet the age requirement. All owners must be 65 or over by the end of the calendar year in which the benefit starts. So if they apply by March 15th, in order for the benefit to begin on July 1st, the first day of the property tax year, they must be 65 by December 31st of that year. The next section pertains to income. All owners listed on the deed or legal ownership documents must be included in the application. The total combined annual income of the property owners and their spouses cannot exceed $58,399. Income includes, but is not limited to, Social Security, retirement benefits, interest, dividends, IRA earnings, capital gains, net rental income, salary or wages, and net income from self-employment. Ownership requirements. You must have owned the property for at least 12 consecutive months prior to the date of filing the application, unless you received the exemption on your previously owned residence. And the final criteria. All owners must occupy the property as their primary residence, except in the cases of divorce, legal separation, or abandonment. Owners receiving inpatient care at a residential health care facility may be eligible for the exemption as well. Note again, you cannot receive the Senior Homeowner Exemption and the Disabled Homeowner Exemption simultaneously. If you qualify for both, you will receive the Senior Exemption. The savings are exactly the same. Estimating your total combined income. You must provide an estimate of your income on your application. If you do not provide an estimate, it will cause processing delays. The total combined income of all owners must include all sources of every owner of the property from the prior calendar year, including wages, Social Security, 1099s, and retirement benefits. If your household has multiple sources of income and you're not sure which to include, you may want to use the income calculation worksheet. This is provided as a resource and is not required for submission with the application. Let's take a look at that worksheet now. This worksheet lists the income sources that must be included, the allowable deductions, and what the total combined income does not include. Most common, homeowners are reporting Social Security and retirement funds. They must include all Social Security payments, the full amount, not just the taxable amount. If they have other capital gains or dividends or gains from sales or exchanges, all of that should be included. Payments from their government or private retirement or pension plans. And if they have any other sources of income listed here. Unreimbursed medical expenses are an allowable deduction in the income calculation. If an owner has high medical expenses, they may have reported this on their federal tax return, 1040, in what's called the Schedule A. That's the best document to submit in order for those deductions to be included. Otherwise, the owner can submit their Social Security 1099 to reflect their Medicare premiums. Or also they can send in their unreimbursed medical or prescription expense invoices. They'll add up their total income sources, subtract the unreimbursed medical expenses, and then in order to determine the estimated total combined income. Just keep in mind, this is an estimate, so there should be no worry about an error in these calculations when completing the application. The test for eligibility will pertain to the income documents. Estimating the income on the application is just a way to gauge if you fall within the range for eligibility. The income test will not include your IRA distributions or any cash assistance or public assistance. We don't include the reverse mortgage proceeds or Social Security income. It also excludes gifts and inheritances. Here's an example of a 1040 federal tax income return document. The sources of income are all listed on the first page. The test for eligibility will apply to the total income, not just the taxable income. So we're looking at these sources in column A. Here's an example of a Social Security 1099 form, which reflects the owner's Social Security income from the entire calendar year. It will also list the Medicare premiums, another approved medical deduction. The estimated reduction from the benefit is dependent on the total combined income of the owners. The higher the income, the smaller the savings. If the income is closer to the top of the range, between $57,500 and $58,399, the savings will be 5%. The savings increases as the income decreases. And any owners with total income under $50,000 are eligible for the maximum reduction of 50%. Nearly 80% of the current recipients from this program are receiving the maximum reduction. The deadline to submit your application is March 15th annually. And once you are approved for the senior exemption, you must renew that benefit once every 2 years. The Department of Finance will send you a renewal application in the mail when it's time for that. For more information about the renewal requirements, take a look at the Renewals Frequently Asked Questions section. Now that you understand the eligibility of the program, let's go ahead and review how to apply. We'll start by first reviewing the online application, which is fast, safe, and a secure way to submit your application. On this page, you'll see the initial applications and the renewal applications. There's one for the online application, one specifically for co-ops applying online, and then the paper application, which is available in multiple languages. Similar to the renewal application, also available in multiple languages. Let's start by reviewing the online application for co-ops. The online application requires you to sign in with your NYC ID account, which you may already have if you've been paying your property taxes online or have contacted the Department of Finance online previously. If you're new to the system, you can establish a new account by creating it with your email address and password. Any problems or issues, go ahead and report an issue. Once you have your account set up, you'll come to the menu of available filings. These are all the savings programs you can apply for with the New York City Department of Finance. Again, be sure that if you live in a co-op, you are using the co-op specific application, which we will start with the Senior Homeowner Exemption. The application begins by describing the eligibility criteria, and the owner must simply click on Begin Filing. They must enter in their address or their borough block lot in order to access their account. The questions in the online application are the same as the paper application. Each section has required information, which is noted with the red asterisks. The first is you must enter in the property information. Have you owned this property for at least 12 consecutive months? If it's a co-op, how many co-op shares do you own? Once you complete this, go ahead and click Next. Look at this. There's an Attention Required box. It's letting me know that I have not completed the required information. That's okay. I can come back later to continue this section. I'll fix it later. Continue to the income section. The income information requires an estimate of the total combined income of all owners and their spouses, which we've just covered. The options here are very similar to the income worksheet. Again, keep in mind, this is an estimate. The actual test will be applied to the income documentations that are submitted. Now you must enter in the owners and their spouses. You can add for each individual owner. The owner information required includes Social Security number, the date of birth, primary residence, and questions about eligibility. Is this owner married to another owner of the property? Is this owner the sibling, brother, or sister of another owner of this property? And does this owner have additional properties? Owning additional properties doesn't disqualify you from eligibility. We're just ensuring that you're only receiving the exemption on your primary residence. Then click Next. Did you receive this property through a trust, life estate, or will? If you have a trust or a will, you will need to attach the required documentation in the final section of the attachments. Please list any additional properties or units where applicants claim primary residency. If none, continue to the next tab. Now we've reached the summary of the application. If anything on the application is incomplete, it will be indicated on this list. You must submit the documentation to verify the income on the application. Required documentation includes proof of age, one document that reflects your age from a government ID. Usually it's your New York State driver's license or ID. You must include your proof of income. If you do have a life estate or a trust or a will, upload that in the legal forms section. To claim any medical expenses, upload those documents in the unreimbursed medical expenses section. Now we move on to the final portion of the application, submission. Before you submit the application, you must certify that the information you've provided is true and correct to the best of your knowledge. You understand that Department of Finance will verify the information and contact you if anything additional is needed. Please include your contact information and also the contact information for anyone that's assisting you with this application. Most important, don't forget to click Submit in order for it to be sent over to the Department of Finance processing unit. Once the application is submitted, you will receive an email confirmation. The processing unit will review the application and notify you by email if there are any additional documents or information needed. Reviews usually take anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. If you are notified of additional requirements, you must respond in order to get an approval on your application. If the applicant is denied and doesn't agree with the determination, they have a right to appeal with the New York City Tax Commission, an independent city agency with the authority to override Department of Finance's determination. They must provide proof of eligibility along with their appeal application. If the applicant doesn't have a computer or prefers not to apply online, they can also download and mail in a paper application. We'll take a look at that very quickly since the questions match the online application. The paper application reminds you who can apply for the benefit, the deadline for eligibility, how to get help from the Department of Finance, what documentation should be submitted, and additional documents required depending on the circumstances of the property. Mail this paper application to the New York City Department of Finance Homeowners Tax Benefits, P.O. Box 311, Maplewood, New Jersey. You must include the documents required in order for an approval to be determined. Section 1, ask for the property information, your BBL, your address, the mailing address if it's different from the property's address. What type of property is this? Condo, co-op, 1 to 3 family home, or 4+ units? If the home has more than 4 units, enter the percentage of space that's used as the primary residence. You can only claim the exemption on the portion of the property that is used as the primary residence. Is any portion used for commercial purposes? If so, indicate the percentage. The exemption cannot be applied to the commercial portion of the property. Have you owned this for 12 months? Did you receive it through a will? Is the property owned by a trust? Is there a life estate? And does a child, including tenants, reside on the property and attend public school in grades pre-K through 12? Section 2 is where you'll enter in the owner information, their name, birthday, social security number, or tax ID number. Check the box below if it's the primary residence for owners 1 and or 2, if the owners are married to another owner of the property, if they're the siblings of another owner, and if they own any additional properties. Check the box below this if there are more than 2 owners, and attach the information requested in this section. Check the final box here if a relative or a guardian is responsible for the owner's affairs. Section 3. Estimate the total combined income. Remember, you must enter a number in this box or processing will be delayed. Again, this is an estimate. Section 4, the final section, certify and sign the application. All owners must sign the application. If Department of Finance receives it without a signature, the owner will be notified by mail that they must return a signature for processing to be completed. So the application is 1 page front and back. Then the final page reviews the required documentation, reminds you must submit proof of age and proof of income, the additional documents depending on the property circumstances, and finally a reminder to contact the Department of Finance if you need accommodations or additional assistance. The senior exemption must be renewed once every 2 years. When the time comes, Department of Finance will send a renewal application in the mail. The renewal application is even shorter than the initial application. It's asking for the property's information, the answers about eligibility, the owners and if the ownership has changed, income, and certifying and signing. That covers the eligibility criteria for the senior exemption, how to apply online or by mail, what documents to submit, and what happens after submission. So let's review this also for the disabled homeowner exemption by clicking on people with disabilities. The disabled homeowner exemption criteria for eligibility is nearly exact as the senior homeowner exemption, except this is for younger adults receiving disability. The initial application or online application will ask the same questions as the senior exemption. The disabled homeowner exemption is available to owners with income under $58,399 annually. All owners of the property must be disabled, except in the cases of spouses or siblings. Only one must have the disability. With few exceptions, the property must be the primary residence of all owners. The deadline is the same, March 15th. How to apply is the same. You must submit a completed application, proof of income, and for the disabled exemption, proof of disability. If the property is owned by a trust or was inherited through a will, they must submit the documentation relevant to that. Complete the property information section and the owner information. Enter in the estimated income, sign and certify. The primary difference is the requirement for proof of disability. In order to get approved, the owner must provide the disability award letter from the Social Security Administration or the Railroad Retirement Board or U.S. Postal Service, or a certificate from the New York State Commission for the Blind, or a Veterans Administration letter stating that you are entitled to Veterans Disability Pension. Here's some tips and suggestions for easy approval. Apply early in the season. Applications are available all year round. Don't wait until the deadline. Submit a completed application. Fill out all of the required information and provide the documents necessary. If you're applying online, you'll upload those documents as PDFs. Or you can take a picture and upload an image, as long as it's clear and legible. The signatures are required for all owners. When applying online, if there is more than one owner, you must print out the signature page and upload that image as well. Keep a copy of your application and everything that you submit. If you mail in your application and you want to track if it's been accepted, You can send it certified mail, although that's not required. Be sure to respond to any correspondence from the Department of Finance requesting additional information. And if you're not sure what else is needed, contact us in order to get clarification and assistance. Let's look through the contact us options now. There are multiple ways to contact the Department of Finance for assistance. You can submit inquiries online. You can call 311 if you have a question about your exemption status or your property tax account. You'll be connected to the Department of Finance call center through 311. To learn more about the Department of Finance services and our savings programs, you can attend an outreach event. Outreach events also occur virtually. And for more assistance from our exemptions unit, you can schedule a virtual appointment to speak with a specialist. To stay up to date on Department of Finance services, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about the senior and disabled homeowners exemptions. Please ensure to submit your applications and don't miss out on the property tax breaks. If you have friends or family that might be eligible, let them know more about the programs and offer to help with their applications.